We'll go ahead and start the program. Welcome to the Living Well series. My name is Nova Amin, and I'm a library instructor with the Plano Public Library. Before we get started, we're going to wait a few more minutes. We'll start as people join, but we'll go over some housekeeping reminders. Note that this program is being recorded and will be made available on the Plano Public Library YouTube page for later viewing. Soliciting business or selling merchandise during the library virtual programs is prohibited. Please show respect for our presenters and one another throughout the program. Participant microphone and video camera options are turned off, but if you have any questions or comments, please use the chat section on and our staff will be monitoring the chat to assist with any tech issues if you have some, but please bring questions to the presenter's attention, and we'll also be sure to leave some time for questions at the end. Then I'll just go over what we're going to be covering today. So today's program is going to be covering biking and happiness for health. So keeping your mind and body active and engaged is important. Plano Public Library is pleased to partner with several organizations with resources to assist you, along with opportunities to learn something new at the library. These Living Well programs will connect you with information, programs, and services to assist you in getting the most out of life. Today we have Kelly Crimmins and Lance Knox from Plano Parks and Recreation Department to share information about cycling. Cycling is a low-impact exercise for all ages that can improve cardiovascular health and overall endurance. Plano offers nearly 100 miles of hike and bike trails for safe, fun outings by foot or by bicycle. Learning the cycling basics from an experienced cyclist with the Plano Bicycle Association, including what to wear, how to select the right bike, and where to ride in Plano, and more. As the PR Community Outreach Specialist for Parks and Recreation, Kelly manages the department's social media channels and outreach initiatives. Kelly started her career in the city in 2017 with nearly 10 years editorial experience with the Plano Star Courier and community impact newspaper Plano. Kelly graduated magna cum laude from Georgia State University in 2004 with a BA in journalism and PR. She enjoys writing, yoga, meditation, and meeting new people, trying new foods, and spending time with her family. Lance is certified transportation planner and has been serving Plano since 2018 with an education background in engineering, planning. Lance manages the city's trail system as well as other bike and pedestrian projects. Outside of work, he enjoys kickboxing, video games, and traveling the world. Thanks for being with us, Kelly and Lance. I'll go ahead and transition the program to you.
Thanks, Nova. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen here. Hope everybody's doing well today. I am going to kick us off. Can everybody see my screen? Does that look good for everybody, Nova?
We have not been able to see this
screen. Oh, okay. Sorry. I'm sorry.
Okay. Okay. Yes.
How about now?
Yes, that looks
okay.
Thank you.
Great. Okay. All right. Well, thank you guys for spending a few minutes of your morning to learn a little bit about the Plano Parks and Trail System and how the Plano Park and Trail System has just become a perfect place for biking in our communities. So it doesn't matter, like Nova said, no matter how old you are, there are many ways that you can benefit from the trail system in Plano, whether you're biking or walking. But for this intents and purposes, we're going to be focusing on the cycling aspect in Plano. Now, I know a lot of y'all might be thinking, maybe you're a little intimidated. Maybe when was the last time you actually rode a bike? Whether you're a novice and have never ridden a bike before, or maybe you're like me and are just kind of getting back into biking after, wanting to kind of reconnect with those childhood memories, so to speak. Or, maybe you are an experienced cyclist and you're just looking to find out a little bit more information about how to plan your next ride here in Plano. We are here to help. So why bike? There's so many ways to stay fit. This is a really great method for getting a holistic health aspect for your mind, your body, your soul. It's easy on the joints, like Nova said. The low impact aspect of it makes it ideal for virtually people of any age, even if you have something that you maybe, like, you're older, our joints get creaky, so we're looking for something that's going to be kind to you and not hurt you. Biking can definitely do that. I can speak from experience. Like I said, I just started getting back into biking, and I started out small, found a bike that I liked, and from there, you kind of take little steps, little chunks as you go along, so that you can still feel comfortable and confident. Cycling increases fitness and stimulates the body's metabolism. And it also creates a sense of inner balance. One thing that I found interesting that I wanted to share with you guys is, just after, 20 minutes of riding, you start to feel like that runner's high. But the way that cycling works is it's a perfect combination of exertion and relaxation, because you're moving your body, but the movement and the speed at which you're going and being able to see the city from this perspective really provides you with just an overall sense of well-being and contentment, even though you may be sweating and getting a good workout in. So I think that's the perfect combination. In that way, it also improves your hand-eye coordination, which is good for all of us. And again, it really helps build that muscle and that physical balance, not just your mental balance, but physical balance. So many benefits here that we should be reaping right now, especially living in Plano. And Lance will get delve in a little bit more into the trail system itself and how you can use it and how to make it work for you. So, getting to know Plano's trail system, that's another thing too. I think that, and I'm really glad that the library reached out to us to talk about this subject, because I believe that there is definitely an intimidation factor that you have to work through. I mean, we have all seen those real hardcore cyclists, who are using streets to travel on, and that's Lance will get into our shared use paths, but you don't have to be that hardcore spandex wearing cyclist right off the bat. You don't have to do that at all. They have different kinds of bikes. Like I have a hybrid, so I can ride it off-road and on the street, so it opens you up to different opportunities. But yeah, circling back a little bit, just to give you an idea, I put the slide here just to give you an idea of what all you can take advantage of, and all the amenities that Plano's Parks and Trails have to support you through your ride and through your experience of becoming an experienced cyclist. We have 85 park sites that are connected by, I think, nearly 100 miles of trail. We have, reservable pavilions. We've got tons of trees. And then I'm bringing this up because it's all components of what makes biking in Plano so amazing. Restrooms, you got picnic tables, our trails connect to not just our parks, but restaurants in Plano and shopping areas and the libraries. So, it's also considered an alternative form of transportation, as well as a form of enjoyment. But for the purpose, for the purpose of this presentation moving forward, I wanted to share with you a few important links that I'd love for you to maybe bookmark on your web browser, or just make sure you kind of keep them in your head, because this is where you're going to find everything that you need from our department to help you get on your way to cycling in Plano. So I'm going to show you how to get to our Bike Plano website. I just clicked on, I just went to our main homepage, which is planoparks.org. There's a lot of information on this website, which is why I'm going to show you how to get there. So we go down to Parks and Trails. It's a great overview of our park and trail system. I encourage you to explore this page. However, depending on what your needs are, you can find, we have a trail system page. We have, you can go to the individual park pages to find your park. I'm going to go to the Bike Plano website. So this is where you will find information about everything, basically everything you need to know about biking in Plano. We have some maps here, which I believe Lance will probably get into a little bit more. Let's see what else we have. We have, Fix It Plano. A lot of, one great positive thing for our department is having cyclists in and around the community. They are kind of serving as our eyes and ears, because we can't be everywhere at once. So, when you see something, you can always submit requests for services, whether it's a downed tree or it could be, anything that you see that needs our attention. You can use the Fix It app to communicate that with us. There's an FAQ about our on-street bike route system, which is what I was talking about with the, using the roadways as bike trail, which is scary to me right now, but I'm going to overcome that. We're going to overcome that. And there's also some videos that give you a little bit more information into the individual trails themselves, because as I'm sure you know, our trail system consists of many different trails, and it's all about connectivity and knowing how to use them and knowing how to read the signage to get from point A to point B. So with that said, I'm not going to take too much of Lance's thunder. I'm going to go back to my presentation. And one other thing that I wanted to share with you, also, we were supposed to have a individual from the Plano Bicycle Association join us today. And unfortunately, he had to cancel due to medical reasons. So we're all thinking about Jerry right now and wishing him a speedy recovery. But in his stead, I'm going to also share some information about the Plano Bicycle Association later on in this presentation. But let's go ahead and kick it off with Jerry. And this is a video that we did with him last year to promote Bike Month, and it might just give you a little bit of an intro into things that you need to think about when biking in Plano. Okay. Why am I muted? Can you guys hear that? Can you hear that video?
No.
Okay, let me see what I can do here. I don't know why. It's gonna work. Hold on. Hold on. Okay. Let's try that again, shall we?
The volume on the video, if you want to increase the volume on the actual video.
Today, we're going to talk about two things: safety and what to do when you're on the trail. First, I'd like to talk about the gear that you're going to wear. Let's start at the top and go to the bottom. You're going to need to wear a helmet. The helmet is the most important piece of safety equipment that you're going to have. You get what you pay for when you have the helmet. If you've got a $19 head, well, go ahead and buy a $19 helmet. And buy a helmet that's got the MIPS, multi-directional impact protection system. It adds a little more to the price of the helmet, but it's worth it because it protects your brain. Eyewear, always wear protective eyewear. This time of the year, you're going to have early morning and late evening. When you're out riding, you're going to have a lot of bugs. A bug in the eye can make for a very bad ride. Gloves, always wear gloves. Should you have to go down, your first thing you want to do is stick that arm out. If your arm comes in contact with the pavement, it's going to abrade the skin on the inside of your hand. Footwear, always wear substantial footwear. Flip-flops are not substantial footwear. Should you happen to go down and you're not wearing substantial footwear and you get your foot caught between the chain and the chain ring, it can cut you up pretty badly. Wear loose-fitting clothing in the summertime. Wear bright clothing. It's always best to be seen. When you're seen by other people, other riders, cars, it'll save your life. Let's talk a minute about the things that you should and shouldn't do when you're riding on the trail. Firstly, speed limit on the trail is 15 miles an hour. Don't be one of those people who are speeding on the trail, passing people in and out. It gives all bicyclists a bad name. Secondly, when you're riding on the trail and you have walkers ahead of you, always call out that you're passing on the left. Pass here on your left. Make it loud, make it clear. If they don't appear to hear you first, keep calling it out until someone responds to you. If you get no response, go past them very, very slowly because you don't know what they're going to do. A lot of walkers have earbuds, they're listening to the music, and they're really not paying attention. Be especially wary of walkers with dogs. Retractable leashes are very, very dangerous because that dog has no limit to how far it can run. It can run across the trail, power your bicycle, and cause you to crash.
Okay, that was fun, wasn't it? So this is, we'll get to this a little bit too. And this is just a little infographic that we created this year. We have a lot more, we have more people on the trails. COVID brought a lot of people out into the trails and parks, and which is a great thing. But trail etiquette is certainly important, and Jerry touched on that a little bit, but I'm going to go back. The few things that he mentioned that I think are really important to note are the types of equipment that he mentioned, the helmet, and how important that is. I remember him telling me, you can spend, what did he say, $25 or $15 on a helmet, if that's how much you feel like your brain is worth. So I think you certainly shouldn't skimp out on a helmet. However, I will say, they're not that expensive. I bought mine for, I think, $35 at Dick's. Sunglasses are really good. He made a good point about the bugs. And gloves are really important. He had those fingerless gloves. Again, those are things that are affordable that you could find at any sporting goods store. He mentioned the passing on your left, and making sure to be vocal and let people know that where you are, and what your movements. And one thing that I did that he didn't mention was I got a bell, so that really helps me. Plus, it's fun to use. So that I think highly encourage getting a bell, or at least until you get used to calling out and letting people know you're there, because it can be kind of awkward at first. So that's just from my personal experience. So we'll get back to sharing the trail and biking tips, and we'll be looking forward to answering any questions that you guys might have as well, so we can continue the dialogue. But for now, I am going to stop sharing, unless, Lance, you want me to keep my screen up.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you to go ahead and throw up our trail map.
Gotcha. Okay, so I'm going to go back to our website. Here's our map. You want to do the trail system map? Okay, got it.
So I think Jerry touched on a lot of great points as far as the equipment and making sure you're safe while riding. Now, when we talk about trying to put that equipment to use and actually getting out on the trail, because it is bike month, May is bike month, Nova mentioned at the top where, Plano has over 150 miles of on-street bike routes. So those are signed neighborhood streets, typically low speed limit. So anywhere between 20 and 30 miles an hour. Those are signed bike facilities. And we have also nearly 100 miles of shared use paths. So on this map, that's really laid out here in the red line. And so our shared use paths range between typically between 10 and 12 feet is kind of the Plano standard. And we connect to various destinations. So you have some of our regional trails. So right now, Kelly is kind of centered on Preston Ridge Trail, which is our north-south regional trail that connects from just south of Frisco all the way down to Dallas. There is some gaps in between there, but you can hop on some of our bike routes and complete that connection there. We also have long regional trails from going east and west, going from close to the Colony all the way to Oak Point Park along Bluebonnet and things like that. And so there are various connections. You got Chisholm that goes from Legacy down into Collin Creek and what will eventually be the new Collin Creek Mall development. So it touches on various shopping areas. As Kelly kind of noted, some parks, tennis courts, outdoor pavilions. You got the Oak Point Nature Preserve, you have Arbor Hills. So you have various different aspects of experience and environment that you can kind of get outside and utilize our trail system to connect to. Obviously we have connection to libraries, to some of our public facilities. So that's our trail system. It's ever expanding. We're continually growing. We build new trail just about every year. So there's always room for improvement. There's always areas that we're looking to connect. And then at the same time, we're always going about and repairing our trails. And so I know Kelly mentioned on our Bike Plano page, you have that Fix-It link. And so we kind of utilize that Fix-It link to kind of make sure our trails are in the best shape possible. I want to talk a little bit about our Bike Plano page really quick. So as Kelly alluded to, this is our Bike Plano page. And this is a little bit different than our trail system page because this is bike centric. This is where you can go and get a lot more bicycle information than necessarily what you'll find on our trail system page. So here, as Kelly mentioned, you got some trail maps. You have our interactive map. You have also a PDF of just how to utilize Google Maps to route a specific between a starting point and end point. So utilizing the Google Maps and turning on the bicycle layer and utilizing Google's software infrastructure to kind of help in some of your biking activities. And then you can kind of go in here and you got the 3 hamburger bar to the left, Kelly. You can kind of, I think they changed it actually. I think it's under layers down at the bottom. Yeah, click on that and they have biking layer. And so just as you would kind of route your normal travel destination between start point and end point, you can do that with the bike layer, and Google will utilize its software combined with its known information of our bike infrastructure. So typically it's our shared use pass. It's less so of our bike route. So it's really trying to utilize our shared use pass. So then you also have our interactive bike and pedestrian mobility map. This map is, I really like this map. This map is different than our trail system map, mainly because it includes a lot more bike infrastructure. it does, provide you with the parks and our on-street bike routes and our trails, but it also lets you know where you can find a fix-it station, and we're slowly trying to expand the location of some of those. We have other bicycle, or Plano is developing new types of bicycle facilities. So right now we are primarily comprised of trails and on-street, bike routes, but we do now recently have a cycle track across D&T, where that's a new type of facility. Our engineering department is beginning to develop bike lanes along Shiloh. So we are introducing new types of bicycle facilities. And while that might not necessarily show up on our trail map, because that is trail oriented, you would find those facilities here on this interactive map. And this interactive map is a lot more up to date as the GIS files internally here at the city update. This map updates. And so it's a little bit different than our hard copy trail system maps, which, has to be cycled out every, 2 year or 2 years. And so there's less frequency than this interactive map. Can you go back to the Bike Plano page? And so other resources that you can also find on here. So I think one of the big things is just the general safety and laws around biking in Texas and in Plano. We do have some trail etiquette, but just understanding what are the rules of the road legally as you're kind of biking. If you are a more experienced biker and you want to bike in the roadway, understanding what is permitted in Plano and in Texas, and what is kind of expected as you are operating as a vehicle. So once you move into the roadway, off of the trail into the roadway, you are now being you're now operating as a vehicle, and you're being perceived as a vehicle. And so understanding what those regulations, what the expectations are, and how you should conduct yourself properly and safely. Another aspect that's kind of provided within this Bike Plano page is just general additional bike resources. So one example is for those who are possibly looking at biking as a commuting option, how can I take my bike onto DART? Well, DART does have some information about their people's ability to bring bikes with them on their buses as well as on trains. And so we provide links to some of that information. We also provide links to some shared mobility. So other aspects, maybe you want to bike and then scooter downtown. And so Plano does have a shared mobility program. And so there's separate information on that. And so we provide some links to that information as well. And then we also provide just general state and federal bicycle associations within that additional bike resources tab, such as the League of American Bicyclists, or Bike DFW, or Bike Texas, that also provides other bicycle information, or it does bike advocacy or bicycle classes and things like that. So we do provide a lot more bicycle oriented information on this Bike Plano page. And then lastly, I did want to kind of shoot back to Kelly, to your presentation on some of those trail tips. So kind of expanding a little bit off of what Jerry mentioned in terms of the equipment, one of the things you should consider when using the trail. So if you are not necessarily comfortable in the roadway, but you want to be on the trail, understand that the trail is a shared space, that is not just bicyclists. It's not just electric bikes, but it's scooters, it's walkers, it's dog walkers. And so it is a shared space. It is a combined area within that 12 feet. And so one of the things you want to keep in mind is planning ahead, pack a snack, don't forget your water, especially now as we kind of move into these summer months, these hotter temperatures. You definitely don't want to forget your water. Make sure you carry a snack with you. And we do have emergency markers posted along some of our trails. It's not across along our trails. But those emergency markers help those who are in distress reach out to our paramedics and fire and police teams to help locate you on the trail, especially if you're kind of in one of our, Oak Point Nature Preserve, where it's a little bit harder to distinguish where you are location wise, what roadway and things like that. So that does allow some of our emergency services team to kind of access and find you quickly on the trails. But again, don't forget your water. Look and listen, be aware of others in front and behind you. Again, this is a shared space. Just be cognizant that you're not the only one. I know Jerry mentioned that some walkers have earbuds, it's fine, but everyone needs to be kind of working together just for a more friendly experience. So as he mentioned, pass slowly on the left. If you're like Kelly, you have a bell, ring your bell, or just continue to be vocal on your left. Again, so just look and listen and just be vocal. Observe and don't disturb. So our trails do traverse in some more natural environments. There are wildlife, and while it's nice to take pictures, don't, stay away, stay a safe distance. That is a natural habitat, and we want to make sure that's preserved, and we don't want to disturb that. We want to keep that pristine, and that's also what helps promote the appeal of some of those natural areas. Keep dogs leashed. Plano does have a requirement that all dogs are supposed to be leashed in along our trails in our park areas, unless in kind of a dog park specific area. So keep those dogs on leashes, and don't forget to scoop up their poop. We do have poop stations, so those can definitely be discarded appropriately. Keep right past left. Like I said, I believe Jerry kind of touched on that a little bit in his video. Of course, leave no trace. Plano prides itself on keeping our parks and our trails very clean. And so we want to keep that way. And so part of that is taking on a personal responsibility and ensuring that you're disposing of any of your own trash, or you take it with you. We do provide trash bins along trails in a lot of our areas. And so it should be relatively easy to dispose of that trash, so you don't have to litter. And then obviously be courteous, don't block the trail. That kind of goes in line with our keep right, pass left. So just, again, be cognizant that you're not the only one on the trail. Even cyclists, I know cyclists like to ride really fast, but again, there's that speed limit, and we want to be conscious of others on the trail. Kelly, I'll throw it back to you.
Great, thanks, Lance. Yeah, and there's a lot to keep in mind when you are out and about in our parks and trails. And yeah, I think, if we all work together, the not blocking the trail, I did want to mention that one thing, because that can, I've been guilty of that violation. And, you sometimes you don't even think about it, because if you're on your bike and you stop for a water break, don't stop and take that water break on the trail. All you got to do is just scoot over into the the grass to the side. That way other people can get by you, and you won't have to worry about getting hit. So that's a lot of information. Thank you, Lance.
Yep.
All right, so let me get out of here. Okay, hold on. Okay, here we go. And I think I want to make sure we have time for questions, so and conversation. So I'm just going to close with something I always do, which is encouraging everybody, if you're not already following us on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram, to please do so. It's a great way to stay in touch with us. We're very responsive via Messenger, and also it's a great way to just stay up to date on everything that's going on with our department. We have lots of projects going on. And like Lance had said, the weather's getting better, getting nice. The pools will be open soon. So we got a lot going on, and we just want to make sure that we're keeping everybody in the loop. And like Nova said, you'll be able to check out this and other videos on the city's YouTube page and on the Plano Library page as well. So, and for future reference, if anybody has any questions related to Parks and Recreation, particularly trails and parks, you can reach out to myself or Lance, and our contact information is listed below. And with that, I will kick it over to Nova, and maybe we can hopefully answer some questions. And I will stop sharing my screen.
And it looks like we do have a member from the Plano Bikes Association, Greg Miller. So I'll go ahead and just unmute him to see if he had anything additional to add.
Hey, Greg, you're on, but you're on mute.
Hi, Nova. Nova, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear
Kelly?
you. Yes.
Okay, thank you. So, yeah, I'm sorry that Jerry Hubbard could not join. He's the education director for Plano Bicycle Association. I'm also a member. I'm a ride leader for Plano Bicycle. I don't want to take too long. Two things I do want to comment on. One is riding on the roads versus trails, and the other is just how to get started. I know Kelly earlier mentioned that if you're a hardcore rider, you can ride on the roads, and some I would call are hardcore. You don't have to be hardcore. There's advantages and disadvantages to both. As Lance said, when you're on the trails, it's shared space, and you're dealing with the dogs and the joggers and other cyclists, and everyone's got their headphones. So in some ways, the roads are almost safer. You don't want to solo ride. You want to ride in groups. When you're in a group in the bike clubs, and I'm not just promoting Plano Bicycle Association, there's several good ones in the area. They all do ride on the roads, but they're all in groups. And when you're in groups, there's always a ride leader and what they call a sweeper to hang on to take care of people in the back, then it is much safer. So, and also I've talked to many friends trying to encourage them to join. And I know one of the things they're intimidated by is they see the big groups going down the roads at a high speed. And yes, that is true. The bike clubs have big groups that ride very fast. There's also groups that ride very slow that you don't see, that are more through the neighborhood. So the wonderful thing about the bike clubs, such as Plano Bicycle Association, anybody can start. I started several years ago at what we call the novice ride level, that is very slow, has a ride leader, just goes around the neighborhoods. So I encourage you to start with that way. Another thing, and just in terms of how to get started, is there's several very good bike shops in Plano, Richardson, Allen, McKinney. The biggest is probably Richardson Bike Mart, but there are many others. Do not be intimidated if you're not a regular cyclist. They actually prefer to deal with a new rider, because a lot of experienced riders think they know everything and they don't listen to the salespeople. So they're actually very glad to have a new rider come in and they can walk you through it. Get your bike. It is expensive to buy the initial bike, but your bike lasts forever. I've had 2 bikes over 15 years, and the only reason I got my second bike was to move up from an aluminum to a carbon fiber bike, so it can last you forever. Get your bike. I would encourage you to join a bike club, start at their lowest level. Another thing you can do is there's several bike rallies in the North Texas area. We're getting into that season now where there's almost one every other Saturday. So there's a lot of bike rally opportunities. The 2 links I go to are either, I've just suddenly drawn a blank on my 2, wheelbrothers.com is one. Wheelbrothers.com shows you all the area bike rallies. They're about $45. They have police protection. They're wonderful because they have rest stops every 10 miles. They have police protection. So good. Yeah, she's pulling a bike. You're right there at the top right. Texas Bike Rallies and Races Calendar 2022 is a great resource. I actually started doing bike rallies before I even knew bike clubs existed. You ride at your own pace. Probably half the people are with a buddy and half the people are by themselves. So I'll stop there. Again, the cycling, so it's wonderful exercise, and even more important, it's just fun to do. You make a lot of good friends. So go to a bike shop, get your shop. You can buy a bike online. I don't encourage that because you're still going to need to go to a bike club to help them adjust it and probably put some things together for you. So I encourage going to a bike shop and then looking to the bike clubs. For Plano Bicycle Association, she's showing our website right here. If you just scroll down a little bit from where you are, Nova, you can see, it should show you. So all these, where it says upcoming rides, each one has we'll give you a link to the information. Let's see, right. So on upcoming rides, they only show the ones for the next 2 or 3 days, but by Thursday, it'll list all the rides for the coming Saturday, where there's probably 15 different rides that are going on a Saturday, from very slow to very fast. So I'll stop there, and I don't want to take up too much time, but glad to help any questions in that area. Thank you, Nova.
All right, thank you so much, Greg. That's a lot of great information and useful information for people interested. We do have a couple of questions in our chat. One of the questions, if they're asking if we can talk a little bit about the rules for electric bikes.
Lance?
Yeah, sure. So on Plano's trails, electric bikes are treated just the same as regular bikes. Now, as you know, was kind of mentioned earlier, Plano does maintain that 15-mile-an-hour speed limit. So even if you're on an electric bike, you still are kind of capped by that 15-mile-an-hour speed limit on the trail. But electric bikes are permitted on our trails. And I want to say they're also permitted in the roadway as well. So there's no restriction there.
Yeah, and this is Greg. That's just true in the bike clubs too. There's no distinction, and on the roads, so I think the 15-mile-an-hour limit is for the trails. On the roads, some of the groups go much faster than that, and the electric bikes are getting so good, frankly, in some cases you can't tell the difference if you're just looking at them.
That is so true. And because what it says on the list of park rules, motorized vehicles, that does not, we're not talking about those motorized scooters. We're talking about go-karts and golf carts and that sort of thing, right, Lance?
Yeah, I think in our municipal code, it actually breaks out motorized vehicles versus electric. So that also includes scooters as well.
Okay, great. Our next question, we have a participant who is 46 years old and does not know how to ride a bike and would like to know if there are any centers to teach adults how to bike.
I can start, but I'm sure Greg might know some other resources as well. But I know that we recently started. Lance and I have been working with one of our former directors to help us create a bike ambassador program. And I'm trying to find my summer catalog, but I know that in the spring, our ambassador, we started doing in-person classes. One was for adults, and it was held over at the Sam Johnson Recreation Center. And then we had another one that was actually for parents who are trying to teach their kids how to ride a bike. So we are opening those opportunities. I do not have my catalog with me at the moment, but I do believe we have perhaps one in the summer. I will have to double check.
I don't think we were able to meet the summer catalog. I think we were going to try to do one in the fall, though.
Greg, do you know of any other entities out there that might be able to offer those types of maybe workshops or classes for adults?
Well, my comment would be, I'm 65 years old. When I started riding with PBA about 15 years ago, I had not been on a bike since I was a teenager. But you kind of ride around the neighborhood a little bit, kind of get the feel for it again. I will say the bike rallies, are very good because almost all bike rallies probably have 6 or 7 different routes, anywhere from 80 miles longest down to a 10-mile, what they call a family route. And on the family routes, there's children, there's all ages. So if you can even pedal a bike, go out to a bike rally. In fact, that's probably the first time about 15 years ago, I got on a bike rally and did an 8-mile route, which then I wish I'd done more. But the bike rally, because it's not a race, you do your own speed. So I would encourage you just to get on your bike, get pedal, join a bike rally, do the 10-mile route just to kind of get your legs under you, whether it takes you 20 minutes or 2 hours, and just start. And then once you get your confidence up, then get involved with a bike club and start at their lowest level, which again has ride leaders that'll help you along.
Yeah, like I was saying earlier, you gotta start somewhere, and B, you gotta start small. And I knew I had arrived when I got my belt, but you've got to just again start somewhere. You can always reach out to us or the Plano Bicycle Association. They have great people who can be a tremendous resource for you as you're getting started. And they can also provide you with a lot of motivation and encouragement, which we all need when it comes to biking and gaining our confidence.
Thank you. The next question we have is, where can I get a bike? Where can I get the best bike with low cost?
Great question. Greg, do you have any recommendations? I got mine. I had to look around. I have to say, I'll tell you this. During COVID, it was really hard to find a bike, and I don't know what the inventory is like these days, but it took me a couple of months before I found what I was looking for at the price I was looking for. But Greg, do you have any tips you'd like to share, or Lance?
Yeah, Kelly, you're right. I mean, COVID did the supply chain of bikes has been very tough, and you're right. It could take months to get a bike. I think it's a little better, but it's still tough. I mean, the cheapest bike, if you just want to start, you can go to a Walmart and get a bike for, I guess, $200 or $300. If you just want to ride around the trails, there's nothing wrong. That's going to be the cheapest you can get. And then if you want to get a little more quality bike and get out on the roads, then you probably want to go to a bike shop. Again, you can certainly order a bike online. There's many resources, but unless you're a skilled cyclist, you're still going to have to do a little assembly, and it's going to need a lot of tune-up and adjustments. So I would still recommend going to a bike shop, and the prices vary depending on the type of bike. Again, you can get a fairly low price bike that's aluminum, and then there's titanium and carbon higher up. But my recommendation would go to a bicycle shop, talk to one of their sales people. They're very friendly. They love talking to new cyclists, and just let them help you.
Yeah, I got mine from, I got our whole family. We were on an endeavor to equip all of us with bikes, and it took us a while, but we found ours. And like Greg was saying, we're just starting out, so we got ours at Academy and at Dick's, and they were, like he was saying, a couple hundred. Well, I think mine was it was under $300-400, but it's an investment. It really is. And like he was saying, the bikes that you get they last. As long as you take care of them, they will last for a long time.
Yeah, I agree. It's been a while since I've shopped for a bike. The bike I have now, I got back when I was living in California, but I got it at a local bike shop. But the bike before I had that, I did kind of what Greg was talking about. I bought that one offline, but you end up finding stuff you have to do a lot of adjustments, and I had to put that one together. But when I was ready to kind of upgrade and ready for a better kind of newer bike, I went to a bike shop, and they kind of fit you with the appropriate bike. So because it's based on kind of your height and things like that. And so yeah, I would recommend kind of just going to a bike shop and kind of, as Greg mentioned, kind of talking with someone, and they can kind of walk you through that process.
Yeah. Lance used a key word, and I apologize if I'm talking too much. The bike fit. It's much more than just getting the bike put together and adjusted, because there's a lot of fitting to how high the saddle is, how high the handlebars are, getting the pedals adjusted for your foot. And the bike shops provide that. If you buy a bicycle from the bike shop, as part of that, they provide the adjustments for you. They have people that are experts in that, and you really do need that. So again, I still encourage the bike shops.
I see something in the chat.
We've included what you were looking for, Kelly.
Yes,
Bethany found it. There you go.
Yeah, this is the winter, right?
Yeah, this was the winter one that we had. Yeah, it was really great. So we'll be doing something similar to that. Let's see, page 68. That was let me just see what we did last, so I can tell y'all what to look forward to this fall, real quick. So yeah, Ride On Bicycling for Adults. And we did it at the SJC. It was $9, taught by our own Don Wendell, former Parks and Recreation Director. So you're learning from the best. So we're excited about getting this Bike Ambassador program going, because there's a growing need for guidance from people who want to get out there. And I'm telling you, that's a silver lining from COVID. I tell you, is everybody has really recognized the importance of parks and trails and recreation in Plano. So we hope to be out in the community more. We also have a National Trails Day celebration that we are hosting here at Oak Point. And I think Bethany or Nova, I sent you guys the invite, but I'm going to go ahead and just share this on my screen with you guys real quick, so everybody knows. So we're having a National Trails Day celebration on Saturday, June 4th at 10 a.m. And this is just, another effort from Parks and Recreation to connect with avid cyclists and trail users in the area, just to, recognize the important role that parks and trails have in Plano, and how they connect us with one another and the world around us. So we encourage you guys to join us out there. There'll be a short program followed by activity booths and, mingling with Parks and Rec staff. We're encouraging rides and walks across around the lake back here at Oak Point. So we'd love to see you guys out there. I just posted the event on our Facebook page, so go and check it out.
Yeah, and it's in the morning, so it's, we'll avoid that hot temperature as things start to heat up here. So
very nice. We don't have any more questions in the chat, but please feel free, participants, to include anything else you'd like to ask our panelist. And then I'll go ahead and share my screen to share just some of our library resources. Let's see. Okay. So here we have our Memory Keepers program. Memory Keepers is an online program for people living with early stages of dementia or Alzheimer's and their care partners. It's offered in partnership with the Alzheimer's Association and is a monthly online conversational program for people and their care partners to explore and conserve memories together. The aim of the program is to give people living with dementia or Alzheimer's a comfortable space to express feelings, interact with others, remember the past, and express their personality, and reduce anxiety and restlessness that they might be experiencing. The library staff that leads these programs have completed training through the Alzheimer's Association, and they guide conversations around common themes like family, friends, childhood, and pets. and there's time for participants to share their experiences. And all registrants receive a follow-up email with library resources and information like that. Our next slide, we have more programs that are geared towards our senior audience or older adult audience. We have Connecting Seniors. You can meet new friends or connect in a new way with those around you by joining Connecting Seniors or library book clubs that we have. Drop into Connecting Seniors, an online program for people to get together, share life experiences, stories, and memories, and have fun. Our upcoming topics include Dallas Day Trips on June 2nd, Oh Chocolate on July 7th, and crossword puzzles with friends on August 4th. Have a lively conversation at one of our library's online book clubs. Whatever your reading preference is, there's most likely a book club to match it and people interested to hear your thoughts. And then, let's see, we have, Connecting Seniors meets on the first Thursday of every month at 1 p.m. And there's different topics and things like that for people to discuss. Let's see. And learn something new and a great way to expand your social circle. We have Plano Public Library has a lot of different classes on a variety of topics for all ages. All of our programs do not require a library card to participate. You can participate via Zoom or watch at any time on our YouTube page, or take an in-person class at your nearest library. Learn about personal finance, starting a small business, pick up skills in Microsoft Word or Excel, and find out how you can check out books, audiobooks, and magazines using our library app on your tablet, phone, or computer. And finally, we have our virtual programs and classes. You can find out more about everything the library has to offer at the Plano Library Learns blog, which posts engaging content and resources about arts and culture, early learning, students, STEAM learning, technology, and reading. Visit our blog for articles, recommendations, and reading lists, and to learn more about online programs, classes, and book clubs. Connect with us on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram to receive daily information about what's going on at the library. Sign up to receive Sage, a monthly e-newsletter aimed at older adults. It covers services and programs provided by City of Plano, including the library. You can also sign up for Check It Out, the library's monthly e-newsletter featuring news and updates about Plano Public Libraries. And we do have some other Living Well programs coming up. We have Medicare 101 on May 12th at 11 a.m. at Schimmelfinnick Library. It's an in-person program. We also have the Alzheimer's and Dementia resources on June 14th, and Dementia Conversations on June 30th. Dementia-friendly programs in North Texas on July 12th. And Maximizing Overall Wellness on August 9th. And then we'll continue our Living Well series program next month as well. And yeah, that's all we have for the library resources. If you have any questions, and we have our Plano Library Speaks podcast. If you want to check in and see what other resources that we have available and services we're offering to the public, please tune into our podcast and subscribe. We kind of cover our what library staff is doing, what's going on in the community. Librarians Bob Lofton and Rachel Isigari talk with the library staff and community experts about early learning and families, business and career building, as well as highlighting library services and staff profiles. The podcast premieres on the 1st of each month. All right, let's see if we might have something else. Oh, and our summer program brochure is out. And so check that out for our latest programs. I'd like to extend a thank you to both Lance and Kelly and Greg for chiming in with such great information and really useful information for our participants. So thank you so much. And then was there anything else you guys wanted to share?
Thank you for having us. This is a really great opportunity.
All right, thank you. And it looks like we don't have any other questions in the chat. You can once again view this online on our YouTube page, and you'll receive an email with the survey. So please provide some feedback. We always look forward to hearing feedback by participants. Thank you all and have a good afternoon. Bye-bye.